and the PokerStars Championship main event, final table here from the Saltis Hotel Smaron Casino in gorgeous Panama City. We are down to 3 players. We started 100 days ago with 366 approximately, and now just 3 left. We have a huge stack in the face of Kenneth Smaron with 6.44 million.
Wow.
Equivalent of 107 big blinds. The short stack, Harpreet Gill with 16 bigs, and in the middle, Denis Timofeev with 3.5 million. And now we are at 30,000, 60,000, a 10K ante. I'm Matt Broughton. He is Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies. Let's welcome Joe Stapleton back to the booth.
Let's fire off the glitter.
Bam, 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 bam.
Incidentally, you'll know there's a competition I'm running every 45 minutes. Oh, in fact, let me quickly deal with that. In case you've not been with us today, we have a slight change in the way we're coming to you.
Related?
No.
Go on, sorry.
In that ordinarily we exist with you, the audience, in your time bubble. Today, because of the technical setup here in Panama, we are actually living in the same time zone as the players. So everything that's coming to you happened 45 minutes ago.
By the time you see the trophy lifted, I will be drunk.
Exactly. And by the time I say, cats, I didn't do that. I did that 45 minutes ago.
Right.
And people say, did you hear Matt shout cats? That happened 45 minutes ago.
To be fair, I'm already drunk, and Matt has already shouted cats many times today.
It's true, kind of ruins the explanation. But so, therefore, we're not able to interact with you as we would normally do so on Twitch, but hope you guys are still enjoying the show. We are kind of catching you on Twitter a bit, but again, because of that delay, conversations are tricky. I can tell you that a competition I set probably about 2 hours ago now, there has been one winner. I said I would give away 2 prizes. The clue, and I'm going to set my alarm for another 45 minutes, is that someone has already won with the right answer, and I liked that answer. That's it. That's all you get. Second prize up for grabs.
You know, people can go to your Twitter timeline and see what you've liked.
Yeah, but they won't know to do that for 45 minutes.
Right.
And that's what I know. I mean, I want to give it to them. I'm
okay.
just
Got it.
I'm surprised somebody hadn't already noticed in the real world that I'd liked one of the answers, because it's the only tweet I've liked. Did you get
Ever.
me? Certainly today. We need to catch up with this one.
Let's do it.
Ken raised from the button 130,000, got the call from Denis. Check on a 5-10 king 2 diamond flop. Gill out of there, by the way. He did come along to start off with. Now on the turn, action begins with Denis, who I believe has checked. Yes, he has checked to Ken Smaron, who's now bet with his queen 6. Denis does have the 10. Already got this hand locked up.
Do we have confirmation as to whether or not Ken's mom, Karen Smaron, is watching?
Yes, with her sister Sharon.
Ah, Karen and Sharon both. They actually come from a long line of Smarons. In fact, originally it was Baron von Smaron.
Ah, of the von Smarons. Dean Marino, very cleverly, because I mentioned that the character on my socks was fictional, went Stapes' girlfriend.
Ha! Not bad.
Oh man, in 45 minutes he's going to be so stoked when we vaguely acknowledge his otherwise meaningless life. You're watching PokerStars TV. A call with the 10. I think unless Smaron improves, that's the end of the betting for this particular hand.
You know, Chris Cohen's been really on point this week with the extra poker tidbits and the news from the floor, and he actually has written in to let us know that Karen Smaron is actually dating Jack Salter's dad, Walter Salter.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah. Can I see your socks?
You can.
But don't say what's on them?
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa, I said socks, not the whole leg. I can't even make out what that is. That's awful. Timofeev's checked.
I mean, obviously, all the disfiguration. It makes it hard to see the shape of the leg.
The toddler who sewed those socks is very quite talentless. Look at this. Smaron's put Timofeev in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, I completely misread it, saying, well, if he doesn't improve, I guess the 5 was just a good enough card to rep. But I think...
We forget they can't see the whole cards.
We forget that. But I guess... well, that seems unfair. That's all I'm going to say. I think that's something we need to look into for future stops, as we appear to be changing the rules about everything as we travel around the globe.
These two are shaping up to be quite the rivalry. Some great hands played between these guys. And this is one of those hands where I'd almost rather know after the fact what the cards are. Like if it had to do this or nothing at all, of course I want to know what the cards are. But if there's some way we could watch this hand and then see at the end what everybody had, this is really impressive. Smaron the Razor continued that turn. I mean, he's fired every single street. And I guess what Timofeev is trying to figure out right now is what can he be going for 3 streets with? Time's been called.
Wow.
And there's a bunch of missed draws, which I think makes this bluff harder to pull off. Because you'd expect him to go blasting off here with all of his semi-bluffs. Flop and turn, and then on river he's got no choice but to fire again, and it works.
Wow.
Nice move, Kenneth Smaron.
That'll be why he's got 7.37 million chips. That's right. 121 big blinds. Nearest opponent, Denis on your screen, 46. Shortest stack, Harpreet, Gill, 30. Hey, hello, a bit of Andrei Shadalov. Alexei Boyka. Bit of a rail forming out there.
Big blind?
Yeah. 6.
VJ writes in to say, excellent point, Matt. Insightful analysis.
I know. I have no idea. I have no idea. I think it was the thing I said about tens and Gill, and James looked at me and nodded approvingly. I did make a mental note of feeling quite clever about something. I think in general we were discussing the mental durability of Gill and whether he was going to be his own worst enemy if he starts becoming too paranoid about being clearly the least experienced player of these 3. Overthinking how much they were picking on him. Lots of other guesses coming through, I can confirm. Brackets in 45 minutes, brackets. Not Popeye, not Hello Kitty. Any Family Guy character, says Francesca. No. Somebody else said, any Mr. Man. What a lot of Mr. Man. No. And this is an all-in from the short stack, Harpreet Gill. Ace deuce off on the button, good enough for him. 6-7, not good enough to take him on. He lives to fight another day.
Baby, baby.
But
Can't you hear my Harpreet?
Nice. Joe's off to do a victory lap around the commentary booth after that slight
Nailed it.
acknowledgement. Absolutely nailed it.
Hashtag nail. The commentary booth's very small and back.
What was the other stuff on it? I forgot. I promised the dealer button and something else. What's the other kind of juicy thing we've got that people like? Not the decks of cards. There was something else.
All-in triangle, I think.
No, I don't think we've got any of those.
That.
I think it might have been a card protector.
Card protectors, yeah.
Right. Okay. Fine. No, that's probably it. I just couldn't quite remember what we. It was. Yes. Yes. So I've awarded the dealer button to the first correct answer. I know I said I'd take a poll, but I don't think we have enough days left on the broadcast to do it that way.
Harpreet Gill facing this button raise from Smaron, 6'4", suited in the big blind, and lets it go.
It's okay, it's okay. As long as you made him put his phone down, I'm happy. I'm happy. There's really nothing more to say.
Being asked if I have Lee Jones on my socks, not at the moment. If you'd asked me a couple of days ago, I would have struggled to answer.
Can I read out some of these answers?
Go for it.
And what about Dean Marino, who's guessed about 4,000 times?
Do you know what the problem was? 15 minutes had passed before I realized I meant to say only one entry per person. And I thought, well, if I say this now, it's
going to take a while to catch up.
Going to take a while. I feel a bit like, you know, in Interstellar. And it's like, do you know what? Now, for every hour, several years pass back in Essex. So every time I like go to the toilet, my dog's probably dead now. You know, it's dreadful. You know, everyone I know. I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into this whole delay thing, but
it does get kind of confusing sometimes, though, which is why I don't know how anyone would deal with any actual bending of space-time. I can barely handle this 45-minute delay. I almost went back to my room after I did the final table intros, being like, oh, well, we don't start for another 45 minutes.
Old habits.
The only thing that saved me is that I could hear James doing the commentary when I walked past the room.
Right. Well, that's always a hint, because he doesn't tend to practice with a full
I was
live
like,
30 minutes.
I was like, why is James talking right now? And why isn't he stopping? Whoops. I got to knock on wood. It's a miracle that I haven't ever actually been significantly late or missed a flight or destroyed an entire production.
I'm certainly, every single time I work with you, I walk away just thinking, wow, really got away with that one.
I almost feel bad because if I had wrecked something at this point, I would have earned another one.
Yeah.
You know how like when you get your first speeding ticket, you can go to driving school and then like 3 years later it's off your record and you can do it again?
Yeah.
I haven't used that.
You certainly should.
But then if you do 2 in a row, though, then you're really screwed.
Oh, well, then that's it. You're done. Simple as. Wow, nothing I like more than watching a guy on the rail tuck into a really juicy-looking sandwich.
Juicy Sandwich, that was actually my college nickname.
It's the name of my new album. It's available on cassette. Kenneth now, I mean, look at that. How about that for a day's work? 5.7 million up on the day.
What's the frequency, Kenneth, of your raises? Fairly often, I'm finding.
Timofeev. Actions on he. It's interesting to me how often he seems to check the clock. And I can only guess it's at the end of the last level, he was clearly dragging his heels just to kill the time because he wanted a new deck. He didn't like the ones with red.
Well, that wasn't a bit.
No, that was true. Earlier on, he asked, with about 30 minutes to go, he said, when can we get a new deck? And they said, well, not until the next level. And he was like, right, well, what if I was to break one of these cards? Would you have to do it anyway? And they're like, well, yeah, but you would get a penalty. And he was having a serious conversation with Luca. And so, whether for superstition or some other reason we're not privy to, he really did just burn out the last 2 minutes just waiting to get all his cards. Here he looks much happier. He's actually not got too much to shout about. 18% equity on the hand we can see. But of course, when you're sitting with bottom pair, you know how hard it is to connect.
Hard to make a pair.
Hard to make a pair. getting harder to love a pair. Oh, I'd love a pair right now. I've only just recently got into pairs. I was always more of an apple guy, and I realized that Mickey Peterson got me onto this little apple cutting device where you kind of like push this little thing over the top of the apple and it falls into lovely little segments. And that made it much more...
An apple core, a slicer.
Well, not just a corer, like a proper, yeah, like a cutter, like with multiple blades,
Yeah.
like a bicycle whip. And recently I've got into pairs. Anyway, that's the fruit segment of today's broadcast over with. That was brought to you by Pears.
I wasn't done yet.
No. Oh, you had some more stuff.
Well, I was going to say, isn't it weird that fruit tastes slightly different depending on how you consume it? Like, an apple tastes to me much different if it's sliced up and I eat it in pieces than if I bite into it.
Well, that's why I give props to Mickey Peterson and the patented Mickey Peterson apple slicer. It seems fun. It seems more fun, doesn't it?
Like a banana tastes much different when I eat it in my mouth as opposed to when I consume it rectally.
Right, we need to talk about that. I forgot. Do you know what? I made a mental note to talk to you the last time I caught you having a banana in your room.
Yeah.
And I thought I really must be sure to have this conversation. And in that case, you know what I was saying about how I like pears? Don't try a pear.
I wasn't having it in my room, Matt.
No, all right. Well, you were poolside. But again,
all in.
All in from Mr. Gill with his King 5 suited.
Saving us from this conversation?
Yes, saving Joe's career from yet another award for all the wrong reasons. The kind of award handed out by a man with a machine gun and a uniform. Lives to fight another day.
The guillotine.
Got to get out of this 13-14 big blind zone if he wants to start making an impression on anyone. But let's be honest, if you're in Harpreet Gill spot, which one of these two players do you pick on? The indestructible Russian, the guy with over 7.3 million. Yeah. By the way, more superhero guesses arriving, not a superhero, which I think I actually said very early on. This might be it for Gill, I think. I know he would rather be the guy that shoves under the gun, but a race from Smaron, we know how wide that range is going to be three-handed. God, that guy's destroying that sandwich, just absolutely. It's just... He is...
Oh, boy.
He's dropped his paddle. Well, that was a pretty quick fold from Smaron. That will give Harpreet Gill perhaps a bit more confidence to just start making moves. Mayor the B. That's a good guess, Moonshard. It is incorrect. 18 bigs, just over a mil ball for Harpreet Gill. 2.7 for Denis. Kenneth. 7.18 million. Here on our final table of the PokerStars Championship. Main event here in Panama. We will today crown our first ever Panamanian main event champ. That's a new flag on your resume.
Yeah, folks are all about the flags.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just happy to get home alive, mostly. But I guess one man's life is another man's flag.
I have been jonesing to play poker lately. It's been a while for me.
I haven't played live. I must say, helping out in that little rehearsal, you know, a bit much earlier in our schedule, just to sit with some chips and have some physical
I took
cards.
it fairly seriously.
I did.
The rehearsal. Usually I don't. Matt, how long have you been away from home for?
I left on Saturday, the 11th of March, I believe. Rosvedov on the Sunday and the Monday.
I guess in your case, it's not the years, it's the mileage.
Exactly, God. And also the average speed per hour I've done.
Right.
Do you know what? By the time I got to Panama, if you'd looked at the previous few days, I probably averaged a good 100 kilometers an hour in everything I did.
Smaron raising, small to big. The good buddy hand. You guys have a different one for that, I think. 10-4, right? Over in England?
No.
The good buddy hand?
Well, I understand why. I don't know that I've ever heard anyone call it that, but
10-4, good buddy.
I mean, I get the reference, Joe. I get the reference. What I'm saying is I don't know I've ever been somewhere. If it's the 10 deuce and they go, oh, the dolly, but I don't know if anyone's ever gone, good buddy. Mostly everyone's too busy cocking their guns in the sort of live poker games I play in. A check.
Can I read that out loud, James? Because the Broderick Crawford. Is that if Matthew Broderick and Cindy Crawford had a kid? Would it be a 10 with a 4? Matthew Broderick's not a 4. Timofeev.
Bottom pair is
Firing that pair.
at least a pair.
So before the introductions, I often grab the players whose names we may have been getting wrong all week and just be like, hey, you know, if I'm going to introduce you, I just want to hear how you pronounce it. And as I was heading to the final table, he grabbed me and was like, do you know how to pronounce my name? And I was like,
Denis.
I was like, Timofeev. And he was like, okay. And like, usually they don't care. Usually they're like, oh, whatever, it's fine. I mean, they'll tell me, but they don't. And the fact that he like sought me out, it made me think that I'd been saying it wrong all week.
Yeah. By the way, again, Francesca can't possibly know this because an answer that I've already given isn't going to go live for another 26 minutes saying, is anyone close, though? As you're going to find out 25 minutes from now, and again, here I am reiterating it 45 minutes from now.
I feel like this guy who wrote Frida Kahlo is actually kind of close.
I've no idea what that is.
Frida Kahlo? The Mexican artist with the unibrow? Salma Hayek played her in a movie?
No.
Read a book sometime, will you? Jeez.
I'm too busy watching all the TV shows you two recommend or watching the films that I'm bullied into seeing. I ain't got time for books.
I assume we are going to see a 3-bet out of the small blind.
Yeah, from the button, Ken Smaron has made it queen 4 off, 135,000. Ace, queen suited in diamonds. We've yet to find out what Gill's got. He's taking a deep breath, but his fingers say to me, fold. King 2 looks so pretty until there's a raise and a re-raise.
If even that.
Follow your heart. Now wash your hands. That guy's reaching. I hope he doesn't get another sandwich out. I don't know if I can take it.
Just rubbing sandwiches in your face all the live long.
I don't mind that. I would happily.
Didn't slide as I wanted it to.
Can people please stop trying to educate me? I'm working. It's very intimidating. 9-10 for Gill, just outside his shoving range. 17 bigs he's got to preserve here. Make sure that when he gets them into the middle of the table, they are worth it. Ace 4 of clubs for Smaron. A lot of love. The new trolley has only just made its debut 45 minutes in the past. Certainly was an improvement on the first one, if you consider an improvement to be louder and noisier and more annoying.
A couple of decent hands here, blind on blind.
What about now, Joe?
Still decent. Still like them. Backdoor spades for Timofeev.
And the overcards?
And the overcards as well as a gut shot and an ace high for Smaron.
Everything is coming together. $175 with the draws and overcard, ace high. And now a second spade. No direct connection, but certainly an improvement. 70-30-ish right now. Ace high ahead.
Check, check. Free spade? No.
Well, Denis Timofeev called for these cards, this specific deck.
Has anyone gotten there all day today?
Not much.
Ace 4 is going to win this. Smaron adds to his stack.
The thing is that the good news when you're a pro is that right now we're going, well, 7 million. I mean, super comfortable, but he will know that every single chip still needs to be taken seriously, protected with his life. We've seen too many people go from top of the table to bottom of the table. Who remembers that Igor, don't call me Gary Gary guy? Yeah. He was probably laying in bed, end of day 4, practicing which arm shall I lift the trophy with? Which face shall I pull at Joe Stapleton when he makes an amusing remark?
He wasn't going to need that either way.
Odds were that that would not be an issue.
All right, this is the one.
Here we go. It's a good spot. Harpreet Gill.
I got him crushed, he says.
Oh,
statistically, that is true.
Might live to regret that, though. That's a comment that you don't want tattooed on your arm. So it's ace queen off.
Yeah.
Dominating hand for Harpreet Gill. Ace 9 off for Smaron.
I don't want to call it. I'd rather just take it down.
Yeah.
Wow. You're crushed, though. Yeah.
I get that.
I like that. I like that. I like mine. Queen it. Put the queen out there. Yeah. 100%.
Gill out. He's not. It was a chill out reference. He's not actually out.
I was thinking, I think you might have been a bit premature there. I don't know if you know something from the delay.
Didn't really think.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, if you're going to
Get
get
a 9, though.
gonna get hit.
I think it's gonna go runner straight for a chop pot.
Queen or club, I got it.
Queen or a club to keep Gill in.
Put a queen out.
Canadian rail versus the Philadelphia rail.
Okay, all right. One more. Come on.
The dream may be over for the guillotine.
Well,
It is going to need to be a club or a queen, or we are going to heads up here on our final table. Can we save a Gill?
King of diamonds. That's a nice card, right? King of
It's
diamonds.
a club.
oh,
Man.
it's on now.
The best hand
Yeah.
wins.
It's on. River. Like, new NT's going to say I got lucky, but I didn't.
Always carry your toiletries with you.
Yeah.
You never know how long these final tables can go for.
Oh,
Moisturize, you know.
It's not going to seem
drunk,
quite
but
so
I'm
funny when you
fucked.
find out that that's his pacemaker battery in there.
Well, if it is, it's going to need recharging. He is back in the game. Over 2 million now for Harpreet Gill.
Check out your boy. Now he's on dessert.
What's that he's got? Is
It's
that
Baby Ruth from the pool in Caddyshack. Double up. Oh, double up.
Well, that drastically changes the dynamics. Not so much for Kenneth Smaron with the loss, but more because of how close it brings Denis, Timofeev, and Harpreet Gill together. 2.73 million for Denis, 2.1 million now for Harpreet. So Harpreet now with a very, very damaging stack. If anyone gets involved with him, he now can not only improve his situation, but actually hurt them. Not physically, they're all friends, it's just cards. An hour left on the clock. I gotta say, I'm happy to see Gill happy. Been very patient, has played some good strategic timing, folded when it was good to fold, got him stuck in when it was good to do so. Has outlasted many players that we perhaps at one point or another fancied as potential champs.
Matt, now that Gill's doubled up,
Yes.
he's got more than 30 big blinds. You think he should just sit back and let the other two guys go for it and maybe blind down again?
Considering the dynamics of the three-handed play so far, I just don't think that's how Smaron and Timofeev are playing. Unless there's a car crash, I just don't think Gill can afford to do it. I think he should stick with his short stack play, which is just play taggy. Just try and remove all this post-flop play, because I think I just don't think he fancies himself in those heads-up situations. And though he seemed to go through a little period of kind of self-doubt, the point was, whatever he's been doing has got him this far. I don't think he should necessarily go for anyone.
This card is not a go for anyone.
It's also hard to imagine what the guy with 41 bigs and the guy with 98, what kind of hands we're going to have to wait to occur before they just go hell for leather. I almost find a more interesting question is, what does Denis do here? You know, what's his best strategy?
I actually completely agree that it's a good question, and I have no idea. I really don't know. Play the cards you're dealt. Play your good hands, fold your bad ones.
Have you thought of writing like a book or at least a leaflet?
A flyer.
A flyer,
Yeah.
like just single-sided, because it's quite expensive, black and white, just no pictures.
I'll laminate
But anyway,
it.
but to come back to it, I think you definitely should be the voice for some people. Queen 4, Queen Deuce. It is Kenneth Smaron who is slightly ahead, but no longer, because the flop brings a deuce. Check, check, brings a jack. He who bets wins, Rodney.
Check, check again. He who shows down a pair of deuces wins, Rodney.
Yeah, I think 150,000 is up for grabs to just the best cards. Wow, and Timofeev was looking ready to just muck those bad boys until he realized the deuce is good.
The deuce is loose, and it is good.
Nice to see a bit of a row. I wasn't sure how things would pan out here.
I think it worked out well that the guys that happened to make this final table were here with friends.
And where might they go next, one could question. Well, after Macau, the first European stop on once, can you believe, was once called the European Poker Tour. The championship is going to head back to a familiar territory, the Monte Carlo Bay Hotel and Casino, 25th of April, 5th of May. Come visit us. Search Monte Carlo on Stars. Qualifiers running now. I think it's going to take a long while before that isn't still considered one of the key stops on our schedule. A lot of history, a lot of records made, broken, heroes.
This stop has been so wild and crazy that I'm actually looking forward to Monaco for the boringness of it.
We will be streaming 1st to the 5th of May. Myself, Joe, and James. Probably slightly different to the production here.
This place is like a cultural kick to the junk, whereas Monaco has zero culture whatsoever.
By the way, I was going to say it'd be kind of interesting if a low card comes on the turn. It's not been the case because Gill here has got the Jack-8. Hit middle pair on the flop, has now become second from bottom pair. Trips. A nice set of 8s for Smaron. Smaron raised. It was just a flat call from Gill. Pre-flop. There's a check call from Gill again post-flop. And the pressure keeps on coming.
Good fold.
Yeah. I think what Gill is getting is a very good sense of the spots where he's comfortable and the spots he just doesn't want to keep getting himself in.
He looks to be only making mistakes when he has a lot of chips.
Possibly so. And maybe that, again, is indicative of that actually he doesn't want to get deep through multiple streets with these guys because they just ultimately have more experience here.
I mean, it's much, if you are outclassed, okay, and I don't think that that's rude to say in this case because he's the only person that calls himself an amateur at this table.
Yes.
If you are outclassed, playing a pre-flop game is much to your benefit. You want to get the money in before the flop. You want to get it in when you're pretty sure you know it's good. You don't have to make a lot of decisions, post-flop play these huge pots, let people outplay you. And it's difficult to get it in before the flop if you have a lot of chips.
And that's the problem, is when you've been sitting on that short stack, shoving and being folded to, and you finally get that double up, now you're going, right, 30 big blinds. I kind of, do I check shove on you? Am I opening and folding? Am I opening and being committed? And, you know, three-handed, it's very rare that you're going to flop in a way where you just know exactly where you are, especially up against tricky, skilled players. And that's the thing, for all of Harpreet Gill's self-confessed amateurship, he has bested and outlasted a huge amount of players, some of which prove themselves to be some of the best in the world.
Absolutely. Now, I know it's blind on blind. 9-5 seems a little light to me, but who knows? Who knows what you're supposed to do in this situation? Certainly not me.
Deuce 3, Jack, Rainbow. Still the ace high and the will draw. Looking pretty sweet for Denis Timofeev. However, the aggression continues from Smaron. And that's the thing, it kind of, to us, it looks like out of position, junk hand, but he's going to try and make it work for him. It's going to be hard to get rid of Denis.
Yeah, I mean, Denis is going to miss this so much of the time. Little does he know, Timofeev has ace high, which is going to be the best hand a lot. Also has a gut shot draw. Backdoor diamonds no longer.
Nice bit of background buzz picking up here. Good atmosphere in the room. Check, check. Ace high going to be good.
Oh, that's good.
It is good.
Good for you. Good for you.
Got it.
$50 minutes on the clock, 8 minutes till the delay catches up with everyone for round 2 of my competition. Remind you, this competition concludes at the end of May.
You would have done anything so dirty as to say it's not a superhero and then it's like a super villain.
No,
Okay.
I wouldn't have done that. In ordinary competition situation, yeah.
But not when it's 45 minutes, just to be like, I goofed on you. I goofed.
The first guy that said Homer Simpson was right.
Oh, man, that would be so... What a slow roll. The slowest 45-minute slow roll.
Delayed slow roll. A delayed slow roll. That's something special. King high, king 3 off from the small blind.
A little less than 2.
Timofeev.
Should we just say hi to Twitch real quick? We haven't really paid them any attention today.
Well, it's really
They're
hard.
probably withering and dying.
I'm so sorry. So you know, at the top of this, we can't really engage with you today, Twitch, but we do still love you. We hope you're enjoying this. Hope you're finally satisfied to have some cards up coverage at the expense of being able to, like, troll us, you know, in the moment.
It's probably Lord of the Flies right now in Twitch chat.
If we load up, there'll probably just be, like, a blue screen.
Yeah. It's just
like, just error.
404.
Yeah. Audience unknown.
Trying to bust money.
I know.
There's just one guy left alive in Twitch chat, and he's just covered in blood.
It's just one mod going, guys,
I said, I'm trying to
guys.
bust money.
Or maybe it's one of those things where the people in Twitch chat, like, haven't been engaged at all today, so they, like, turned off their computers and went outside and read books and
They're all just feeling the sun. The vitamin D
Yeah.
is just rolling through their hair.
Went and interacted with members of the gender that they find attractive and made a human connection.
Nah, they're probably just
Banging the
trolling
keyboard.
us still, yeah. This is quite juicy. Sadly, the flop has let us down. A raise from Denis on the button with his pocket nines, called by the offsuit Queen Jack. It's a King 8-6 double heart flop.
Stick around, Twitch chat, because in 45 minutes, Jamie Staples is coming to the booth. Now, that's 45 minutes from now, so that's 90 minutes for you.
Don't forget.
Which is when you have to add the 45 to that, though. So what is that in?
Don't forget about Eastern Standard
Right.
Daylight Time.
So that's...
They might have missed him already, actually, now I think about it.
Oh, Jamie, thanks so much for being with us.
Hey, guys, check me out on Twitch. Come see me. Say hi. Actually, I believe that young Jamie has not been very well. Get well soon.
Get well soon. We wish you to get well.
Where?
Shout
Sing
out.
it, Rihanna.
Ray, funny enough, great timing, says Danger Mouse socks. Great shout back to when I was teasing Joe with Danger Zone and said Danger Mouse was one of my favorite cartoon characters. Unless it was just pure coincidence, in which case, why weren't you listening more closely? Again, 45 minutes till that compliment stroke insult actually gets to you. It's quite frustrating for me. It's going to be very hard to get into any arguments with an audience that's in a different time zone. Ace-3 for Gill on the button. Good enough for him to raise up.
James is pasting comments from Twitch into a private channel for us. Some of them are, where's Kasuf? Dothraki from Game of Thrones. Will we see the rest of the previous match? Over for today? Wrecked.
Still entertaining us even when we don't look at it. God bless you, Twitch. We do miss you. We'll be back. Don't you worry. Our next proper full stream, we will be back. It's now a King of Hearts on the turn. The Queen was good for Denis.
Ace trade does not improved. Improved?
See, you're stuck in the delay as well, man.
Yeah.
Don't mix your tenses up. Chopping up some chips, unlikely to get much more than a 12 fold. Don't tease us.
You do not need to know how much.
See, we need James Hartleton's radar. He appears to be able to see into the soul of Gill and know when he's mucking about and when he means it.
There you go.
Good guy.
There you go, big boy.
Button's good.
I think it's not enough. Sorry? I think it's not enough.
Well, let's take a reading.
He wants a new deck of cards and a
more
new.
oxygen.
I mean, it's
That's right.
hard to breathe.
Call the
Not about
Ghostbusters.
the worm.
There's not enough sunlight in here. Not enough cheese. Cheese bowls. Man, Dean Marino is just going absolutely ballistic all on his own on Twitch trying to guess this thing. He has had more bites at this apple.
How long? Now, wait, isn't it time for another clue?
1 minute, 6 seconds. It's going to start up again in a minute. A raise from the ace-3 of Smaron, a call from the king-9 of Timofeev. Gill with the queen-2. I think this is not a great spot for a big blind defense. I think tighter is righter for him.
Well, he ain't listening.
Seems dangerous to me.
75,000 to win 360.
Dreadful.
What was that? That's four, better than 4 to 1.
No, I need at least 7 against these two players. My problem is, against these guys, on the 1 out of 3 that you actually connect with the flop, how strong are you going to connect and how much are you going to like it when you meet resistance? That's my only worry, is how deep are you prepared to play
You gotta
minimal.
hit. You gotta hit 2 pair.
Yeah, you got to hit real lightning in a bottle sort of stuff, is just my point of view. I think for Gill to want to play for his stack, I think he isn't looking for a connection, he's looking for a mega connection, and I just don't know if Queen Deuce is the hand to justify with the value. That's probably quite weak play, but I just think right now he probably doesn't get to play as much poker as he wants to.
Ship to the Smaron. Honestly, might be my favorite last name we've ever had. Other than guys like Dogra and Mortensen. Smaron.
1-3, 1-3.
Smaron is Karen.
Dean Marino still continues to bombard me with entries for the competition. Maybe everyone else hasn't got internet. I can see another correct answer has come in. Finally, do you know what? That was really spooky. My watch vibrated as the 45 minutes were up, and then it went ping. Here they come. Sweet hand, ace-jack suited. A rare thing of beauty, three-handed. Going to let 10 correct answers come in. Spin the random wheel for this second prize. The first one was such an isolated winner that they just won. You guys had such a big clue 45 minutes ago, I'll grant you.
So Domination Nation. Timofeev starts best, flops best. A heart on the turn would be pretty interesting. Maybe something like the 4 or 5 of hearts. Myself and my stupid amateur poker brain, a lot of the times I just fold here because I don't want to catch good on the turn. Because I'm like, oh, then I gotta put more money in the pot.
Yeah. Joe, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 10.
Comedy comes in rules of 3s.
Really?
So I'm gonna make 2 more guesses.
Right.
Just kidding, 3.
Phobia.
Phobia.
Phobia. Michael Molinar came in. Then Sam Schaffer, and then Phobia with an F. Undersea Monkey got it. Francesco, Rob, Ray, John Eccles, Christopher Bean, Moonchild. Thanks, kids. I know that you're going to keep playing the competition for 45 minutes because you won't know that somebody's won. Have fun with that. Well done to Alan Brereton, who picked himself up the dealer button. The card protector goes to Phobia. Can you believe it? Even with 45-minute delay, we kind of managed to make a successful competition and give you guys something. It did take about 2.5 hours to actually complete, but this stuff was going to burn a hole in a container that would have got lost in the sea. It's only fair to give it to you guys. Thanks for playing. Don't forget, hashtag PokerStars TV. It's going to take us a long while to respond to you, but we are actually seeing your tweets.
What if we go off air before someone gets the question right?
Well, that's why I started it within the first 60 seconds of sitting down when I knew I was doing 2 1 hour, 1.5 hours back to back. It won't surprise you to know I was expecting it. By the way, I've not actually told you what the correct answer was, which would be fun to admit. It was Kylo Ren from The Force Awakens.
Oh, Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren and Stimpy. Has anyone done that yet?
Not that I'm aware. The good news is I can tweet in real time. So now that I've tweeted the picture of my socks, hopefully, does that work like that?
Han, you stupid idiot.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know Ren and Stimpy?
Oh, not particularly, to be honest. It passed me by. I think that was the real video games era. As we see Gill choose an interesting time. Ken made it 135,000. Nice.
Gill shot.
Timofeev called it.
Raised and called.
And he gets some excellent additional value for his shove. 26 big blinds, 1.56 million is where he now
Raised,
is.
call, all in.
It's so cute the way he's telling his friends in the rail what happened.
Ну, буду читать.
I love that. That's what we all want to do when we're there. We just want our friends to see us. We just want to hang out. I think it should be perfectly allowable for his friends to just come sit next to him.
I think you're right. Why not?
No casino has taken me up in this idea yet. You know what? I'm just going to put it out there because I've pitched it to important people at various casinos around the world, and nobody wants to listen to me. There should be one night a week or one night a month where you can bring a friend to play poker with you, and they can sit next to you, and they can sweat your cards, and one player to a hand doesn't necessarily apply because I got lots of times that I got either a date or a girlfriend or a buddy that wants to learn how to play poker, or they want to come with me to the casino. I'm like, you know what? It's incredibly boring for you, and I don't think you would enjoy it standing 20 feet away from me, not being able to see anything's going on. If you want to bring more people to the game, it should be inviting. It should be open. None of this weird. And I understand why the rules exist, right? If you got people that want to have a serious game, great. Have a table. Bring a date table.
Yeah.
You and the missus would go out, go out for dinner, go play some hands of poker. Think about how much more poker you would get to play if you could include her.
I know what you're saying. The thing is, the number of times friends of mine, in fact, I think you might have even said it to me a couple times. If, you're in town saying, we should meet up, we'll go out, we'll have some drinks, let's go play some poker. And you go, we're going to get split up, sat halfway across the room from each other. I just sit silently as Gill goes all in with his pot sixes. And I just think, I would love to turn up and say, look, there's a gang of us coming. We all just want to sit on the same cash table as we see Gill get called. Denis Timofeev.
Here we go.
It's a classic race. It's the small pocket pair, the sixes.
A pair, bro.
Надо монеточку.
Like Kylo Ren versus Darth Maul, one of these two hands has a slight mathematical advantage.
Nice.
One time.
A gilly.
That's right. I'm just going to keep crashing into your various noises. You fill your boots, love.
Yeah.
Clanker, 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 clanker. Timofeev.
There's really not much to say. There's not really
there
an
isn't
analysis here.
It's an ace-king versus a six, and another one. Sixes.
Huge flip for this stage of the tournament. Third place finish on the line.
Yep. It's 161,340 pounds.
Solid.
Sorry, dollars.
Solid flop for sixes.
Versus the second spot of $217,860. So it's a big deal. Five for Canada. Harsh.
That guy said okay long before he could have registered what that card actually was.
He's just shouting. Ace or a king on the Intersport, the afternoon for Gill.
My heart is racing right now.
What have you been drinking? Safety.
This guy can't lose. The guillotine.
See, and this is where, once again, I wonder if he is going to be able to cope with 51 big blinds. And Denis Timofeev down to 25 bigs, 30 minutes on the clock, 1.5 million now.
James, does this have any kind of tune to it, or is it just spoken word? Such a thrill when Gill goes for the kill. I think he's going to mill around, so get your fill and hope he doesn't spill his drink till it's time to chill. I prefer this one. He does what he wants. He does what he wants. Harpreet Gill, he does what he wants. That's some classic
certainly-
English football chant
yeah.
that doesn't have any rhyme or reason to it.
It certainly has its charms. Wow. Now you got a bit of work to do, Dennis.
I'm going to give Sam Chaffer a prize if any part of this next flop coincides with his prediction. He said, I'm going to predict the flop for 45 minutes time. Let me know how close I am, chaps. Jack 8 deuce, all clubs.
That would be something quite impressive. There we see how this sets things up. Ken Smaron still sitting on 6.2 million.
I will increase the prize for every card he's correct.
Wow.
So if he gets one, I'll tell you what, if he gets one card, it's one prize, 2 cards, 2 prizes, 3 cards, 4 prizes.
Wow.
I'm gonna bump it up.
The
You get a
meat
bonus.
feast. The meat feast.
Yeah, you're gonna get a perfect bonus.
1.5?
I will give him every dollar in T-money that we have left budgeted for this trip. And then I'll have him burned at the stake for being a witch. So enjoy that T-money while you can. The moment of truth for Sam Chaffer coming up. Timofeev holds the button. Jack 6 a hand. Wow, nice
Tell
fold.
him to get me service.
Oh, that was going to be the Jack 8 deuce all clubs flop, and we didn't even get one.
Well, that's
Yeah,
all right.
we'll
Doesn't
roll
it
it
just
over.
roll over?
Yeah. But I'm saying that the next 3 cards was there on that deck. That shuffle.
Yeah. We'll just never know.
Right there.
Yeah.
No, not for you. For him. Me and him last hand.
Oh.
Well, even though I've posted a picture of my socks, people are still guessing what they are, which doesn't seem to make sense because the picture of my socks is happening in real time.
KMD Racing tweets in to say, is Gill tilting or will he survive? Yes, he will survive. I can promise you. From when you sent this tweet, he survives at least 45 more minutes.
Just had to think about that, but I can confirm that sentence. Does make sense. It's a King Jack 3 2 spade flop.
Maron's going to continue.
Did you record that?
Oh, calm down.
I got it.
Well, there's a 3rd spade on the board. But not a lot else for Ken to get particularly excited about. He had a go at this post-flop. Timofeev still feeling confident about his jack, and he was right.
Can you deal with that?
"30 minutes on the clock before another break."
I just got all of a sudden really excited for these guys. One of these 3 guys is going to be the 2nd ever PokerStars Championship champion, and I hate saying that. I got to stop backing myself into that word corner. PokerStars Championship winner just doesn't sound as good, though.
Well, just start off with the title. There's going to be a champion of a PokerStars Championship event, and pause a little bit. No, I know. Well, it
You got to
doesn't
give
work.
it the pause, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we are going to crown a champ of yet another PokerStars Championship. They should have thought that.
Yeah.
Do you know what? When they were making that interesting choice, they probably didn't go, first and foremost, it's got to be easy for James. Joe to say. Because he is ultimately the guy that's going to stand there in front of those confetti like cannons. So let's make sure that it's,
This is how highly regarded I am within the company, by the way.
So let's not forget, he's going to be an award-winning broadcaster.
Got an email from PokerStars today. Hi there. This is from the PokerStars communication team.
I got one of these. Who are you and what do you do? Who is your daddy and what does he do?
We're doing some spring cleaning and updating our press mailing list. We'd like to check that we have your most up-to-date correct contact details and find out more about the way to provide you with the best information. Can you please provide us with your current media outlet, or if you're freelance, a brief summary of who you write for?
Did you get asked for your home address as well?
Yes, I did. Explain why I haven't got my last 3 paychecks.
Deuces are still ahead of the ace-jack here. No meaningful direct contact. Connection with the flop, should I say. That is genius. And I wouldn't mind, but one of the people on the email actually know.
Matt's ex-wife. Now, James has come up with a great name for the tour that's Joe-friendly.
Right.
The poker game. So it's like, I'd like to congratulate the winner of the poker game. I mean, I still have to get the player's name right, which we know is a struggle. Congratulations for winning at the poker game. The PokerStars poker game.
Here's how things are, in case you were wondering. 27 bigs now for Denis Timofeev. He has fallen somewhat. Harpreet Gill on the up and up. Nearly 3 million for him. 26 minutes of enjoying that 48 big blind stack. Kenneth Smaron still absolute mega leader. Trampling on the skyscrapers of Panama as he heads for the ocean. That last bit was a bit dramatic. He's just got more chips than everybody else. 6-7 off for Timofeev. Well, for a guy who wrote his own bio saying he's a recreational player, Harpreet Gill is doing a pretty good job of giving these full-time pros a right ruddy good run for their money.
Yeah, he is.
Ace King 8. Gill still ahead with the jack high.
His all-in game is strong.
And that's the bit that's most important, because that's generally the bit where your tournament life is on the line. That is an excellent part of the game to specialize in. Picking good hands and getting all your chips in with it. Rude. So a pair. If you haven't had a pair for a while, kids, if in fact, Google pair.
Let us reintroduce you to the pair.
Because I've just in the last month found that they really are one of the more tremendous fruits on offer. They're available everywhere. You're watching PokerStars TV. It's only because James left the room, so I thought I'd just like
get back in on the fruit discussion.
Just pop my belt open, you know, from a commentary point of view. Ace deuce off for Smaron. 7-8 suited for Gill. It was a raise from Smaron. Gently called. That is probably going to shut down the action for Harpreet Gill. He would be right to do so with the 1%.
You don't always have to flop her hard.
That is true.
In fact, sometimes that's not right to do. Sometimes you got to flop her gently. Sometimes you got to deal some clubs.
Oh, do you know what? I was going to say that check on the flop, that might just be too tempting for Harpreet Gill to not wield his pile of chips.
Crack in the door.
It literally was just through a single Malteser through the kitchen door, and all the local cats were like, whoa, what's that then? Absolutely drawing dead. Not even trying to, do you know what I'm saying? He's just he's got nothing to believe in other than his own confidence here.
He has 0 chance of winning this hand at Showdown and very little chance of winning it any other way.
It wasn't a mega expensive pursuit, but it was an unwise one.
Every hand that Gill plays against Smaron and Gill doesn't go broke, Timofeev just goes further and further mad.
From the start of the day, Kenneth Smaron has made an additional 4.74 million chips to his stack. Harpreet Gill, that doesn't really tell Harpreet's story.
No,
in
God,
fairness. Denis Timofeev, that kind of does tell his story because that's all been relatively recent. But Harpreet Gill, I think if we had the ability to print graphs, which I'm ever so sure we aren't, because we're hanging on by a thread.
Oh, God, no. We're not even capable of saving footage.
So, having already lost one of the 3 parts of the podcast, I fear for part 2 and 3.
Don't throw graphs into the mix.
But I would love to see exactly what the activity of Gill's stack has been throughout the day, because he has been roller coastering. These are 2 pretty hands on a 3-handed table with Gill already out of this. Timofeev with the king queen, gonna get the hoodie up, shields up.
Woo! Let's do it.
Ace-4, considering the guy's saying there's not enough oxygen, I'm not sure if wearing a hat indoors is going to help him feel any more airy. Hits top pair, great kicker. Man, poor old Elizabeth Davison is the only person in our audience that hasn't taken the hint that I have not only picked the winners, but actually revealed what the answer is.
But that wasn't, she won't have heard that yet.
No, but it's on the timeline. That's what I'm saying is I actually...
Lizzie.
Pirate socks, T-Rex
Liz.
socks, Sheldon Cooper socks. Unless she is just playing to amuse herself, in which case you go for it.
I'm often playing on the internet to amuse myself. So,
You might need to look up what amuse really means. Because there's another level beyond that that is probably where you reside.
Amuse-turbate. You're watching EPT Live.
No, you're not.
Play on PokerStars.
That's a pound in the jar.
I knew what I was doing.
I do miss saying that, but I don't say it because they'll get rid of me. Smaron is looking at the 30,000. Going to limp in or raise it up from the small blind. He has raised it. I don't think we've seen anybody limp in. Saw a walk a little while back. Oh, Timofeev. Ace Queen. For those of us waiting for a car crash, I don't know that 10-7 off is the hand from the small blind that Smaron is looking to go absolutely ballistic with against Denis.
Man, I kind of like a smooth call here. Under rep your hand.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, it's one of those where in the long run, if you let someone into this, maybe sometimes they improve ahead of you, but maybe this is how you get the most value. Doesn't look like that's the way Timofeev is going, so we are both definitely wrong.
No, I think 3-betting is probably the right move.
Do you know what I did too? I just didn't want to like not agree with you because it feels like I should support you when you say something.
I appreciate that. Well, I'll tell you what. Disagree with the strategy. Agree with the jokes. I got no ego when it comes to strategy. When you disagree with the jokes and you're like, ha, 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 I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to.
So you're saying you want me for the rest of my life to humor you?
More than you already do, yes.
That is really that's the deeper ask than you could possibly know.
I just can't humor her anymore. I'm giving her all she's got. And that is one of 4 attempts at an accent that I've done in thousands of hours.
I'm guessing that was Scottish?
Yeah, well, you got the gist.
That was a clue.
You got the Mac gist.
Button raised from Kenneth Smaron. Jack 4. Round to Harpreet. Who's got... Oh, my God, Jack 4. Jack 4 was the real key hand yesterday as well, wasn't it?
Jack
with
7.
Smaron? Oh, Jack 7. There you go. Sorry, excuse me.
The same hand.
Dun, 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 dun. all 3 suits in action. It's one of those things where I already said the first word of a sentence that was going to be wrong. Also for this hand, we've introduced the 6. Whatever happened to the guy that, Sam, that made a guess of the flop? Did we both forget to ever check the next flop that came?
Oh, yeah, we forgot.
Man, he was.
I'm going to send him a prize anyway.
He was on the cusp. He was on the cusp of an awesome prize opportunity. But both of us, like a pair of goldfish within 13 seconds, just went, duh.
Let's give him a prize. Sam, we're going to give you, let's give him a double deck of cards and $11 in T-money.
Woo! Congratulations on nothing. Paul Walsh has amused me with the tweet that says simply, random generic comment to be noted 45 minutes from now. Start your clock. I hope you've already done it. I hope you know how this works. Action is going to start here on Denis. The only man not obliged to play a blind.
I've got Timofeev, and the only cure, cowbell. Or air horn.
Disco, 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 disco. Again, don't forget to tune in for the next episode of Poker in the Ears when we properly recap everything that happened here in Panama, because when we did our record, we were kind of already only about halfway through.
Let's remember to put in the podcast our trip to the drugstore yesterday.
Yes, well done. I've got a couple of notes in my phone to remind me of key things, because it's a bit like Rosvedov. There's so much has happened. If you'd heard what had happened to us in Panama, you'd think we've been here for 5 weeks.
I very likely would not survive another day.
You really are pushing your luck. As far as being in one country and not being put in prison, you're on the edge. It's glitter everywhere. It's like a
I just
disco.
put that in my notes too, the glitter. When we were talking about making some new stops for the tour, Brazil constantly comes up, and James is always like, no, Stapes is coming home from Brazil in a body bag. And we are part way to Brazil. You know what I mean? Like, we're in a place that's, I don't want to compare 2 countries that are different, but we're in the same part of the world, and this place is a little less intense than Brazil.
Right.
And I very nearly have died on multiple occasions.
You have certainly embraced the culture and the people.
Exactly. Embraced.
I mean, embraced is perhaps not penetrative enough a word. Francesca says in 45 minutes from now, Matt, the guy was eating a Kinder Bueno. Yeah, I actually did recognize it as a Bueno. I could see the segments in 45 minutes time. Thanks, Francesca. Man, this is like, I used to play like these, basically, I guess, video games by mail, like in the late 70s, early 80s. They were what were effectively like massively multiplayer games, but they were by post. And I haven't got enough time to describe them here. Either people who are older will not talk about it, but you would have like, imagine let's pretend it was a game of soldiers. It's Call of Duty. Okay. You had your roster of guys and you had a certain amount of action points you could spend. It was like a kind of turn-based game might be on video games. And you'd say what you wanted your guys to do. You had to write down all the instructions. I want to move him here. I want to fire this, da-da-da. And you'd mail it off. And all the guys playing this game would mail it, and someone centrally would compile all of what had happened, who you'd encountered. The next week, you get back the results of what you'd done, where your guys were now, a little map of where they were. And you paid a subscription. And honestly, it was what World of Warcraft would be like if we didn't have computers. It was, when I look back at what I used to do, it's mind-blowing.
It is the opposite of mind-blowing. It is whatever the dullest thing possible is.
I guess, yeah, what I should say is it blows my mind to think about the effort that went into doing something really unrewarding. It's a bit like you and your love life.
Yes, absolutely.
Smaron, Queen 4 suited into Gill's offsuit King 7.
Ooh.
Queen has hit. Gill's King 7 has not. Worth mentioning, incidentally, that Harpreet Gill is dropping back down the leaderboard. since he had the big double up. And I do fear a little bit. It might just be the cards, and I don't want to like put a target on Gill, but it feels a little bit like he has to watch out that he just constantly is being snapped away at until he gets to a point where he can comfortably shove it all in. Really good chance he's going to prove me wrong, and I'm extremely happy to have him do that. $330,000 in the pot. The bet from Ken Smaron, 150, job done. And Gill is now officially the shortest stack at the table, just over 2 million.
Every single pot I played with you,
2.14 million for Denis and 6.67 million for Kenneth Smaron.
It's not true.
No, well, like these ones in the last like hour and a half, not one pair.
I'm just fucking with you.
You'll
buddy.
see it. You'll see it. Like not even one. Like
It's good for me.
it's almost.
good
I can't
for-
even hold
that-
my hand sometimes.
It's good for me.
Yeah, for sure, it's good for you.
Hello, Twitch. I'm not looking. I have no idea what you're doing, but just in case you're out there, you've been with us all
Kappa.
week, and you at least have earned our acknowledgement, even though we've kind of abandoned you today. And again, don't worry, everyone. This isn't a sign of things to change. It's just there are technical limitations here in the Panama production, and we had to make a really tricky decision. Did we either come to you live so we can interact with you in the moment, but be cards down, or do we bring you what we generally do, which is a cards up final table, but we have this big delay between us? And we just went with the general consensus that we think the majority of our audience would rather see the cards.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there was a nationwide power outage a few days ago here in Panama.
Yeah.
And we still haven't fully recovered. In fact, this hotel does have power, but the entire building is being supplied with electricity by a donkey on a treadmill.
And I saw him this morning. He looked pretty unhappy. I think his carrots are really running low. A piece of this for both players. The bigger part of it, most definitely for Denis Timofeev. Got the pair of kings and, of course, the draw on the spades. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Nothing.
Nothing for Smaron there other than the 7s and 8s with the king kicker playing. Kings and 8s with the 7 kicker for Timofeev.
Call.
7.
7 is no good.
And that's going to be a nice little boost for Denis. Him and Harpreet Gill. Just taking it in turns to leapfrog each other from bottom to middle. And Denis now on 2.66 mil. Harpreet just over 2, and Kenneth a touch over 6.2 million. For 8 minutes, that's respectively 104 bigs up the top, 44 in the middle, and 34 for Harpreet Gill. And another break due in 8 and a bit minutes. And then we carry straight on, back in for level 28. Gonna leave Joe and James in charge of trying to get this thing heads up.
It smells like a foot around here.
It smells like a foot around here, I think was the quote I just heard.
He said, who smells like a foot around here, I believe.
Well, I believe.
Oh, look at that bottle of Fireball.
What's Fireball?
Fireball is a cinnamon liqueur, and it is one of the greatest shots known to man.
That sounds amazing.
It's fantastic.
A cinnamon liqueur?
Have you ever had like Big Red gum or Dentine or any cinnamon gum?
Do you know what? I haven't in decades, but now you've said it, my brain has immediately
It's like a shot of
remembered.
that.
Oh, and is this an American thing, a local thing here? Do you know much about it?
I think it's, yeah, I mean, it's USA. I think it's originally bottled in Canada, but you can get it in the UK also.
Right. Well, look, drink responsibly or don't drink at all. But certainly I should be investigating that. Wow.
It's a really great
Why is-
shot. It's like for people that can't handle like tequila or Jaeger.
Right, okay. Well, I want to talk more about this, but meanwhile, some poker has got in the way. It's an ace-5 for Harpreet Gill on the button. He raised it up to 130,000, got the call from Denis Timofeev. King 7-4, 2 clubs. Gill's still ahead with his ace-high.
Shot a fireball will cost you 4 mana, however.
Ah. Does it combo with anything? Can I like combine it with my arrows to make like cinnamon arrows for like 6?
You can combine it with, say, like a +1 spell damage.
So like I get more bang for my buck, basically. Yep. Well, okay. And is this by post or is this digital? Because I didn't get any stamps.
You gotta wait by the front door.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's a cameraman or one of them. Make sure that shit ain't moved.
You're fresh, bro.
No.
Are you insulting the personal hygiene of our crew?
Fair.
She's been looking at me for days.
It's very difficult to know where to go with that. It was a C bet of 125,000 from Gill, and immediately poof back for 325,000. Another 200,000 being asked of Gill.
I think a C bet can either be a continuation bet or a bet from just a guy who's a real jerk.
Why?
That's a total C bet.
Yes, okay, I see. What I want to know is why is the guy who came in with his Kinder Bueno and his ham sandwiches, why has he got a bottle of, I'm guessing that's probably quite a high alcoholic content kind of liqueur or liqueur. That doesn't seem like the sort of thing that one would just carry around with them casually. You know,
but it is.
Oh, is it? Okay. You know,
Well, no, I'm
somebody's,
sure he.
somebody's walking around with like, you know, a can of Coke or like, you know, a can of beer, but to like be walking around with some quite potent spirits, it doesn't seem like standard.
For when you've forgotten your flask.
I don't know if anyone noticed the amusing chap on the rail who suddenly became very worried that we could see up his knickers.
I was very worried that we were going to see up his knickers.
It's so I like you saying the word knickers. It's
It
kind
doesn't sound right.
It doesn't really. But it's amusing in its own way. 4.5 minutes left on the level, boys and girls, and then you will get to go and take a break. Man, either we've got like about 16 guys in our crew, or there are a lot of people in matching black T-shirts out there. That's what I'm going to say, just hanging out. They probably spot the guy with the fireball. They're like, hey, let's see what he's got.
35?
Ace-Queen from Smaron is a raise off the button. Oh, the 10-9 suited.
Okay.
Pretty. That looks pretty.
All right.
Okay, I think we're going to see some more streets of action here, boys and girls. 330,000 in the middle. It's second pair for Gill with backdoor draws for the straight. Overcards and the gut shot for Ken Smaron. Check, check. Let's get a free one, Clara. Okay, so two pair for Gill now.
Up and down for Smaron.
Yeah, we're up and down to the nuts.
The nut straight, at least.
Well, they're not straight, yes. Obviously, if it's a third diamond that completes that, it would not be said. Emboldened by his two pair, Gill does come out firing 175,000, gets the call. 680,000 in the middle. It might be a bit of a passion killer, or I don't know, does Gill just go for it? In fairness, his more wham-bam strategies seem to have paid out for him. Smaron has not really got anywhere to go but
Easy
fold.
Yeah, given Gill's
fold or
image.
bluff town. Yep, I think that's all pretty much by the book from both players there.
Well done, though, for being able to bet second pair and then pulling the trigger on the river value bet after the third diamond comes out.
Thank you very much, Joe. Thank you very much. 2.13 mil for Harpreet Gill Nearly 3 million for Denis Timofeev and nearly 6 million for Kenneth Smaron with 2 minutes on the clock. We should definitely get that guy a microphone. He hasn't got a vaguely irritating voice.
He does not need a microphone. Sounds a little like Mike McDonald.
It sounds like his Mike McDonald's leirier younger brother who doesn't have the same restraint or class. No offense intended. Brackets. Meh. Queen 3 suited for Timofeev.
It's hard to offend someone that doesn't actually exist.
Ace 5 call from the big blind. It's an 8-7-4, 2 heart flop, no hearts for either player.
Smaron's got both ends covered. He's got the high card, but he's also got the draw.
Oui. Correcto.
I can use this card, but maybe I'll need to use this card.
Yeah. It's like Omaha. The cards you weren't interested in suddenly become the cards you can't wait to play. Betnicol gets us quickly to a King of Diamonds turn. 600,000 exactly in the pot after Timofeev bet out, got called. Wondering if Timofeev will be happy to see the red-faced cards come back in the next level. I got a feeling he's never happy. Elizabeth's still trying to guess my socks. I kind of feel bad now. Might have to send her a gift just for her. But Wolverine, she says, yes, you're absolutely right, Wolverine. Here's
Ding,
a big
ding,
bet.
ding, ding.
Big bet from Timofeev. He has got absolutely zilcheroonie. He has got no pair, no draw. Got a queen to the king on the board.
This is what we in the business call a bluff.
Ah, a bluff. Let me just make a note of that. Bluff. That's with a B, right?
2 Fs, yeah.
Bluffs. What, silent F at the beginning and one at the end? Or
No, that's that would be a third F.
Right.
Two Fs at the end. One of them is silent, though. You only pronounce one.
right, okay, not bluffer.
Exactly.
Always learning. Ah, the word dogs has just got through to everyone from 45 minutes ago. Glad you're enjoying that word. 450,000 from Denis.
Nice call.
I mean, just an effortless call.
Can he handle the river pressure, though? Like, if you're going to call there, I don't think you're calling expecting to improve very often. Oh, he doesn't. He gets himself a free showdown.
Wow.
Well, that's one way to do it. Kenny Smaron. Favorite baseball player? Hank Smaron.
I'm sure those are all relevant things.
Favorite poker player? Smaron Massey. Favorite vice president? Smaron Burr.
Really
Anything?
no idea what's happening. Let's take a look at how our last 3 players are stacked up. It is 2 million for Harpreet Gill, 2.2 for Denis Timofeev after that clash with chip leader Kenneth Smaron, 6.7 near chips. So players are going on a break. We're going to do the same. Please join us in 17 minutes as we continue our coverage here